It is Mikestedt here with Mikestedt Audio once again. This is a continuation from the pocketing. What I'll do here is I'll show you. The drums are completely pocketed besides this part. This part was pretty close, so I didn't really worry about it. But I wanted to move on and show you guys what it sounds like. As you see, I have some plugins here that are bypassed right now. So I want you to hear what it sounded like after the hour I spent pocketing this. So it's not perfect, but it'll do for the video like I'm trying to show you to make it sound better. So this is what it sounds like, just pocketed, no EQ, no compression, nothing. So here you go. Cool. It's in time. It sounds cool. It's a little hiccup here and there, but like I said, I gotta clean it up a little more. But as I was going through it, I was like, this would be a good video to show triggering or transients and make drums sound a little better. Now, I'm not a professional because I don't do a lot of music, but I did my absolute best to what I wanted to hear. This is just part one of it. The next video will be drum bus and guitar bus compression to make things sound a little bigger and heavier. But this is one of the steps that you're going to be using. So first, what I ended up doing is I started with just the kick drum. So I soloed it. Sorry, I cut out. So I soloed the kick drum and I played it, and I just wanted to hear how it sounded. Not very enticing. So what I ended up doing was shoving in an EQ. It looks kind of weird because I was trying to shave stuff like around the 80 hertz, get rid of it out of my sub, boost some around, actually no, the boost is an 80, the cut is around 28 because I was leaking into my sub, so it was pretty heavy. And then I cut a lot around 500 because I was trying to not fight the bass guitar. But the bass guitar in this track is pretty dirty, so the next video is going to be cleaning up a dirty track, but we'll move on. And then just some boost to get some attack. So it's still kind of poopy, but I did the EQ later. What I ended up doing was this gate. This is a trick I learned. Is I can only do it on this gate for some reason. I can't figure out any other gates, but what you end up doing is boosting the threshold all the way, so it's it's the top and ratio at 100, range 80. You start everything to the very bottom, and you go from threshold, and so you hear a pop. So you'll hear the pop 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 of the kick drum. You turn up the hold, and so you start hearing a full kick drum, not entirely full, but until you start hearing the resonance a little bit. Then the release, but usually I go to attack first, so I can start getting the beater, how fat I want to kick. Then you go to release. It's a trick I'll have to break down in another video, but this is a trick I learned while in school. But this is what it sounded like with that. So it still sounds weird. So what we can do is I can play with it as we go, so you can hear the changes. So I'm gonna mess with the hold and the release a little more because I like the attack. So what I'm trying to stop it from doing is all the bleed. The gate, what it's doing is only letting the kick drum come through this gate right here. Everything else is being pushed away. So no snare, no hi-hat, no cymbals, no toms, nothing. I just want kick drum. So that's what the ultimate goal was for that. So we're gonna move past that. We got it clean. It's a little low right now, so I was like, well, let me get some transients in there. The transient is just gonna make it sound thicker or heavier depending on my setting. I have a pretty low setting. I just boosted it up 23%. There are other transient plugins. This is the one I got with the Native Instruments, but it works pretty good. I don't really adjust the gain too much because I don't limit it, but I can. But I don't know. I'm not a big fan of it. But the hard compression is gonna come later because I'm gonna compress the hell out of these drums. So this is it with the transient. So I'll start messing with it more. makes it sound punchier the higher I go, and this takes away the punch. So the goal I had for it is I wanted a tight, punchy kick with a lot of girth. And I wasn't getting it, and I wasn't really happy with it. So if I put it in with the mix, with the drums, you'll hear that it just kind of disappears. So it works, but it wasn't coming through. So the last thing I did was, indeed, I put a trigger on it, and pretty much it's just sound replacing the kick drum. And I didn't do it entirely. As you see, the mix is 61%. This is the Stephen Slate Trigger 2. It is amazing. I don't use it enough. I paid for it. You know, students can get it for 50% off, so I paid $50 for it. So it was great. Like I said, I didn't do too much, but all I did was just browse through the kick drums that I liked. It took me about like 30 minutes to find this one that I liked. So I'll move pretty quick. What this does, it's pretty cool. So I'll play the kick drum, and the reed trigger, I don't really mess with it too much, but the detail, the mix, suppress sometimes, but sensitivity. What sensitivity is going to do is you'll see these little things will come up. It's the sensitivity what's coming into Stephen Slate. So sometimes I turn it all the way up so I can get the maximum effect of the trigger. So it'll actually have like dynamics within. And the detail controls these white lines. So whatever is loud enough will touch the loud lines, but sometimes you're going to get those small hits, which I had about around this area, because sometimes you get those small hits like when they're quieter in the dynamic range. So I do that to be safe. And then the mix, it'll start here. So this is my original drum, and I just turn it up until I feel satisfied of what I want from the trigger. So it has some punch and it has some click. That's what I want because it needs to cut through everything. So if I put it in the mix with the trigger, this is how it'll sound. So you're hearing a lot of bleed coming in from the other microphones. I have gates on all of them. That's all I did. I didn't trigger the toms because I'm going to EQ them later. But my main thing was the kick and snare and the overall drum sound. So I kind of cleaned everything up, made it tighter. And like I said, the next video will be maybe more triggering. But this is essentially just cleaning up a drum kit after pocketing it, making it sound good. So I moved to the snare. So this is a snare. Like I said, I did the gate trick, and all I did was put transient max on it, and I'll show you without. It sounded pretty dull. And if I pop on the gate, so I was trying to get rid of the hi-hat and all the other stuff, and trying to keep the ghost notes within the actual track. And so it doesn't sound gigantic how I want the snare. So probably the next thing I'm going to do, which I guess I can show you, is either trigger it, but I was messing with the trigger and I couldn't find a snare that I liked to work with it. So what I might do is just compress it right now and just make it really fat. But another thing I did was I just added some reverb. So I have the reverb and my EQ on top of the reverb, and this is the outcome. So very kind of generic snare sound. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try messing with the trigger. We'll show you. Like I said, it's trigger 2 from Slate. Alright, so how I start this is I like to go to the deluxe snares. I want to see what I got. So I'm gonna do a couple, and this isn't gonna be the final. So actually, you know what? I want Black Beauty because I actually own that snare and I love it. So first step, let's turn off the reverb. Turn this down. So I don't need any room. What I really want is the bottom. Let's try replacing the whole snare. So like I said, I'm going to turn it up from the original to the mix. Here, I'll go maximum. Sometimes you have to start all over. Let's put the reverb in there. So with that, let's hear how it all sounds together. This is me just, I barely did anything. I just wanted to find the Black Beauty, and then you can tune it, which I'll go through, but I kind of like the crack. So it sounds pretty cool. A little depth to it and a little more ping. I'm gonna pop these gates back on because that's what you're hearing. These little like lows come in like from the toms. It's bleed. So like I said, I did the gate trick. Make sure all the attacks come through. Kind of shape it up. That'll be the next video. I think that'll be a cool video for you guys. So let me hear. I'm gonna show you the drums. I'm gonna do a different section because that section I'm sure you're getting bored of. We're gonna do this small section right here, and we're gonna hear everything what I've done to it, and just see how it sounds after pocketing some trigger, some transient, and EQ. And then what I'll do is in this video I'll show you what I do for drum bus. So you're hearing some level changes. I'm actually EQing or mixing live right now as we go because I'm trying to get a good foundation between the whole kit, not just like with guitars, drums, and bass. So I'm trying to mix the drums together. So that's why you hear the kick come up, snare come up here and there, toms. So just to give you a FYI. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do a parallel compression. Boom. So what I'm going to do... I'm going to do a new track. It's going to be stereo. I'm going to do drum par compression. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to leave those down now. I'm going to bring this. No. Bring this up because I don't want to bring that up onto the barrel compression and get some weird feedback. That's what I don't want. So I'm just going to option click everything. There is a faster way. I totally didn't think about it for a second. Like I said, it's been a while. Come on. Keeping everything on the second column in case I ever need to do it. So I have the kick, snare, high tom, low tom, overhead, and other overhead. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring up a compressor of my choosing. It really doesn't matter. Like, I wouldn't say there's a specific compressor to use, but I kind of like these, like the BF76. I'm surprised that a lot of people still use it. I watched the Sound on Sound video, which everyone should be watching those. Learned a lot from it, but I think H-Comp is the one. Yeah, this is the one I use for drums, just because of the punch and attack, and it's pretty cool. So what I'm gonna do, so right now what I'm doing is I'm churning up all of my drum parallel compressions up to +0 or unity. I'm using my Digio to a mixer, so it's just a little easier doing it this way than going between all of them. There we go. Almost done. I hope these videos are helping someone at least, or at least people are watching me, which would be fantastic. I love everyone. Thank you very much. Alright, so if I click on this, everything should be at unity. So boom, 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 yep, boom shakalaka. So everything's at unity. And when I hit play, we're going to get some sweet parallel compression. But what I'm going to do first is I'm just going to play. I want to use just a section. You just want to use one area that you're comfortable, that you know, and you can just play. So the one thing you're going to get sometimes is like this weird comb filtering effect. And that's where it gets kind of tricky. Sometimes you can, like I always tell people, just use presets and kind of go from there. It helps. So I'm going to turn down my parallel compression. This is just a preset, and I'm going to slowly turn it up until the drums get a little bigger. So here we go. So I don't like, drums punch. Maybe I like drums heavy. So I messed with the settings a little bit. I'm going to turn it down. It should sound pretty big. I have headphones in, so I can't tell a huge difference unless I put on my speaker. But I'm going to turn it down and turn it up until you hear a difference. So from what I can tell right now with the parallel compression, I feel like the drums are getting just heavier, like lower frequency, which I kind of want. But I really, really want is like a fat drum kit. So let's see if this works. This is me turning it down. I'm going to turn it up as we go. Cool. So I feel like things are getting, better and bigger. Um, that's cool. That's what I wanted. So one thing you guys haven't heard yet, or I'm sure you have, I just haven't played it enough, is the actual guitars. Uh, the guitars. So I'm just gonna play just the guitars, no bass, with the drums. And what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to do without parallel compression for that first part, and then with it, and let it go on for a little bit and see if you can hear a difference. And this is with parallel compression, and we'll start right where we left off. So there's, a little difference. I might want the threshold. I want some punch. There we go. I wanted, more of a kick drum and some snare, a little crack going in there. So that's pretty much what the process I go through. Yeah. So far, it's pretty good. I like it. I'll put in the bass, but like I said, the next video you're going to want to watch because it's going to be me fixing the bass up. But I'm going to play a later part in the song. So here it is. After that, this should be the end of the video. If there's any questions, please leave them in the comments. Thanks. So that's the video, everyone. There's still things I need to clean up, obviously, but this is just kind of go rough, work on this project for fun, get my chops up. Again, thank you for watching. Please share. Any questions, please ask. And I thank you very much.